Thank you for choosing our Patio Heat channel. I'm Steve. We provide tips and information to extend the enjoyment of your patio project. Our videos give you a knowledgeable overview prior to investing in your outdoor heating equipment. Whether you are a professional or owner-builder, we provide specific details for optimum heat coverage for your application. Post a comment or question, or for developed visual designs, send your request into designs@patioheat.com. We're here to work with you. For over 30 years, patio heating is the bedrock of our business, expressing what works best. Now let's get heating. All right, so here we have this residential application, and you can see that we have two different seating areas here. We have a patio dining table and reclining space over here. Now, the client only gave me a couple pieces of information. Number one, the height of the bottom edge of these the ceiling joists or rafters, if you call them, is 8'6", and then there's two sections they want heated, and those sections are typically known as spot heating, and these two sections are 12 by 8 foot areas, so this is the space that they're looking to heat up, 12 by 8, and then also a 12 by 8 section over here. Now I'm going to go ahead and just put on these dimensions that I developed on my own. So these are not true dimensions, but I have this section back here along the back wall here of 30 feet. Now there might also be windows and doors, something of that nature, but it should not be a problem with the placement that I'm going to show you here. But anyways, yeah, 30 feet here. I also have this section of the front wall here at about 25 feet. And this section, you can see here the height of these ceiling joists up here at the 8'6". I shouldn't call them ceiling joists either. But in any case, they're at 8'6", and then I have this section here of 10 foot from the wall here to this point here, as well as about 13 foot from the wall here in the middle to the middle section of the angled outside edge of this patio here. And I think that's about it as far as any dimensions. I do want to put in one further dimension, and let me just draw that up real quick. And that dimension is the distance between each one of these. So I have them physically at 16-inch center to center, but if you looked at the point of placement, let's see if I can get it true here. The distance between the two, you can see, is at 1'2" and 1/4, and I'll tell you why I brought that up in just a little bit. But in any case, the true distance I have, like I said, is at center to center, 16 inches center to center, and you can see that here. All right, let me go ahead and turn these dimensions off, and we'll go ahead and turn off the spot areas that they're looking at heating. And one interesting thing that some people don't realize is that the heater system that we use is called infrared heat, or it's a light wave, and infrared heat is a spot heating system, so you can really tune in the spots that you're looking at. However, when we are developing a page, then, or I should say a design, then the overall dimensions are somewhat important. And the reason why is because to place a heater properly, it's nice to know, true dimensions, like the this angled section of the patio here, the heights of every type of beam that might be coming across here, so we can place the heater appropriately, distances, so we can tell you how far something should be from one edge to the other. But right now we're just going to focus on the seating positions, and the places that we had mentioned is the spots, so 10 by 12 sections. And this is going to be more centrally located to those spots. So there's two ways of doing this for for my recommendation, and that would be utilizing either 2 of the SlimLine. These are 4,000 watt units made for this installation height. And if you looked here, you know, I had to do 2 things. Number one, try to make it so that the spot is uniform heated, and I wanted to make the placement of the heaters more uniform too, so they visually look appropriate for the application as well. You can see here that what I've done is I've made this kind of more of the ideal seating position here for reclining, and this position over here I've matched that location up as far as the distance from this wall to the center point of the heater to that position over there, so it would look more appropriately. Now you could take this particular unit here and slightly angle it, maybe 5 degrees in. If I did that, then let's see if I can show you how that would look. Give me 1 minute here, and I'm going to go ahead and just do a quick 5-degree angle, and let's see if we can get that right. So let's just go with 5 degrees. Oops, I wanted to do one more thing. Let me back this off here real quick and make this unique, and then make it unique again. That's good, and go ahead and change that angle now. So we'll go with that 5-degree angle, and let's go ahead now and look at what that footprint of heat would look like. You can see now that the footprint of heat is covering that space a little bit further into this outer edge over here. So the seating positions on the outer edges of this long section of the patio, or of the table, would be fairly decent. However, the end seating positions are not really going to be covered by one unit itself. So also you can see over here that with one unit you're going to get approximately an 11 to 12 foot distance from here to here, and approximately a 10-foot distance from the edge over here to the left all the way to the right. You can see that we're covering that 8-foot section no problem, but the 12-foot section over here is not as complete. You can see here that the ray is not penetrating this seating position 100% now. This is infrared light wave. So with infrared light, what you do get is you get the ray that will actually bend and stretch as it travels through space. And where this space here, like I said, about a 10-foot section here, 11-foot section here, is going to be the most uniform amount of heat from one unit. You will get rays out here as well. They're just not going to be as intense for the comfort that you're looking for. So that would be 2 units, and let's go ahead and put on some distances so you can see where I appropriately have them. Now again, it's more focused on this 12-foot by 8-foot, or 8-foot section. I think it was 12 by foot. And let me just pull that up real quick, make sure I'm on that same track here. So we have this at 8-foot by 12-foot. Yeah, there's the 12 over here. Yeah, so let me go ahead and just show you where that distance is that I have these units on, so you can kind of get an idea of that. And I want to show you another thing just in 1 second here. Sometimes when you have all these different items up here, it's hard to grab the true center point of items. So let's see if we can grab that to here. And again, it's really focused on the spot portions of heating this particular application. So I have it at 13-foot 3.5 center to center. Is that true? As far as this distances, I'm not 100% certain of that. So anyways, let's go ahead and look at a different option, and I'm going to turn this off right now, and I'm going to turn off these units here, and we're going to go ahead and look at possibly placing 3 units here. Now what I have here is I've attached them to the bottom of these rafters, we'll call them for right now. I made these at 2x8s, so technically speaking, most 2x8s are going to be a 1 3/4 inches by 7 3/4 high. Will it fit on here? This is 3-inch bracket here, so you'd have to attach it to something like this here, and maybe drill your own holes here so that that would line up, because I believe the holes will be probably matched up to, I'm trying to pull this over here. The holes will be probably more towards right here and right here, so you'd have to make your own holes in this mounting bracket here in order to do something like this. But there are 16 inches on center, and you can see that I moved them from 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 over, and then another 6 over to here. And now you can see that we're covering this space much nicer. If you're only using this seating position over here, you can turn on 1 unit. If you're using the whole seating position over here, you can turn on the 2. And the same is true over here. If you're only using one portion of this seating position, including this edge over here, now you can turn on the 1, or if you want to get the overlapping rays throughout the whole entire seating position, you can put on the 2. But yeah, that would be very nice. And the other thing I wanted to just show, and why I brought up the distances from point here to point here, center to center, is because a lot of people like to take these units and move them so that they're centered between the 2 units. So I'll go 8 inches, which is centered, meaning 16. And then also we'll go to move this here to the very bottom edge of this here. Now the problem that we have is not knowing what those true, oops, sorry, let me turn that back on. Not knowing what the true distances are. We need to go ahead and make sure that we have the clearances to the combustibles above the heater itself. And what we need is, we need from the edge of the heater to the left side combustible material or right side combustible material a minimum of 6 inches. And we don't have that with this particular application. You can see that we're penetrating that. So if in fact this was further over, you can see that 6 and 6 is 12 plus 5 for the heater itself. So you're at 17 inches of total space that you need between this point and this point. Could you take this particular beam here, let's say, and move it over, and then take this one over here and move it over? Then of course you can place the heater in something like this, for that location. But anyways, I just wanted to kind of show you that was a concept I kind of like, because of the fact that it is more recessed up here, and all you have to do is come up with a bracket to mount the heater across this edge over here. Now you can see that this is not going to be perfect. I think from this edge here to the bottom of the heater is about 9 inches tall, and so you'd have to make a mount that would maybe fit on the underside of this, something like, I'm just gonna make something very quickly here, something like this, where you just take a piece of steel, mount it so that, or make it so that it's the height of the bracket itself, something like this. And we'll just call this a component here for a minute, and we'll move that over to the left so it's under here. And of course, you'd want to have it the right size, so we're just going to do this very quickly here, something like that, where you can actually hang the unit off the top of this edge over here. But anyway, I just wanted to kind of show that real quickly here. That's what I really like, but that's not something I can actually recommend at this particular moment, because I don't have the true dimensions of these components up here. So, but I would say that this would be my ideal location for the heaters themselves. And if we looked at that spot area, you can see that we're more centered within this spot here, so this 8 feet section. And what I didn't show just a minute ago is if you do have that heater, this bottom edge here above the height, this bottom edge above the height over here, we still have another dimension that we're going to make sure that we clear, and that is the clearance below the heater. And the clearance below the heater needs to be 18 inches from the edge of the heater on all 4 sides. So you can see we got 18 here, here, all 4 sides below the heater. And if we moved it up, we would be penetrating this section over here. So we would have to move the heaters. If we did that, you know, mounted it between these rafters here, we would have to basically move the heater further in so that we're meeting those clearances. But right now, what I have, and not knowing what this true angle truly is, that's going to be an issue too. But I have, like I said, this bottom edge over here, 8'6", and you can see I have this at, if I took a dimension on here, we'll point it from here to here, and you can see that is at 6 inches. So it really depends on what this truly is. Not knowing that information, you know, doesn't tell me that we can actually place this unit here. However, this would be my ideal placement for the spot heating that we're really talking about. So all right, well, I hope this has helped. If you're looking for some assistance with your outdoor heating application and you would like us to review your plans, send your information into designs@patioheat.com. I'm Steve, and please, if you would, tap that like button. We don't advertise, we're not monetized. YouTube will not support our channel unless we receive thumbs up from our viewers. And also, if you have any comments or questions, feel free to ask those. That also helps our channel here on YouTube. We really appreciate that. Thank you very much. Have an excellent day.